Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It has now been officially confirmed by The Hollywood Reporter that Liv Tyler is set to reprise her role as Betty Ross in the MCU for Marvel Studios' Captain America 4, aka Captain America New World Order. So Liv Tyler, of course, played Betty Ross in 2008's The Incredible Hulk, which is a movie that's the movie is canon to the MCU, but first of all, it was produced by Universal Studios. It was released by Universal Studios. So parts of it are wonky. Obviously Edward Norton is not Bruce Banner anymore. He was recast for the Avengers movie, but we're still taking little bits and pieces from that film, as we saw when William Hurt returned as Thunderbolt Ross in Civil War, and obviously Tim Roth returned as Abomination for She-Hulk, and now we have the official return of Liv Tyler as Betty Ross, which I think is quite interesting that, Betty Ross is coming back, but for a Captain America movie, whereas it's, we have a She-Hulk project over there, and it was originally rumored, years ago when we first found out She-Hulk was happening, we knew that Tim Roth was coming back. There were theories and there were rumors that Liv Tyler was in talks to return as Betty Ross in that series, and that obviously never ended up happening. But we did, of course, actually get the most recent appearance of Betty Ross in the MCU was in What If Season 1, where we did get just a brief appearance of the character. Was not voiced by Liv Tyler, but still we got to see Betty Ross on display. Kind of a little reminder of that character and her importance to Bruce Banner and the Hulk. But again, it's just interesting that it's, Betty Ross is coming back to the MCU, but not in a Hulk project. Instead, Captain America New World Order, which, at face value, it may seem a little weird, like, why is this the project she's coming back in? But when you look at all the outside factors, everything we know about this movie, it makes tons of sense, because this movie, as far as we're aware, at least it's looking like the main villain of Captain America New World Order will be General Thunderbolt Ross, now recast and played by Harrison Ford. And of course, Thunderbolt Ross is the father of Betty Ross, so having his daughter in there, that just makes sense. And, pretty much everything we've heard about this movie is like, it's going to be more of a Hulk movie than a Captain America movie. Like, we got Thunderbolt Ross in there becoming the president of the United States. Not only that, but most likely becoming Red Hulk as well. You got the leader in there. There's rumors She-Hulk is going to appear. There's also even rumors Moon Knight is going to show up at some point as well. So this movie is actually filming right now. So we will be getting more reports like this in the coming months. But I just think this makes a lot of sense, especially if you are going to have Thunderbolt Ross in such a huge role, especially if he is maybe even the main villain. We don't know that for sure. That's just my theory. But you would want, something to anchor him, and that would, of course, be his daughter, because if you think about it, he was one of the villains of 2008's The Incredible Hulk, and Thunderbolt Ross has always been a villain of the character of the Hulk, but his villainous is really just protecting his daughter, or at least what he thinks is protecting his daughter from this devious, ferocious green beast known as the Hulk. So it's just really interesting. I think that is why it really makes sense that she'll be a part of this movie. And it does also kind of get you thinking that now we have Betty Ross back. Could we possibly get a red She-Hulk in the future? Because for those who don't know, there is a red She-Hulk in the comics, and Betty Ross was the one that became Red She-Hulk. So maybe she could not only be in New World Order, but maybe even Thunderbolts, and possibly even She-Hulk Season 2, if and when that does eventually happen. We could get some red She-Hulk in here. That'd be pretty cool to see. I wouldn't mind seeing that. But yeah, so Betty Ross, she's back. Liv Tyler is back. That was her only appearance in the MCU, with Liv Tyler as Betty Ross was the Incredible Hulk in 2008. I don't really have like any huge attachment to the actors. It's cool that they're bringing her back, just for continuity and everything. I think this is pretty awesome. So I'm really excited for this. But anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Are you excited to see Liv Tyler return to the MCU as Betty Ross for Captain America New World Order? So thanks so much for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video and hit the subscribe button so I can keep you up to date on everything that goes on in the Marvel life.